Hi, it's a beautiful day in downtown Edison, Washington. We're here today to look at Ann Moore's exhibit called Ascensions and Suspensions. Let's go inside. Okay, we just stepped inside to take a look at the Ann Morris exhibit. Trying out a new microphone, I hope it works. Let's start with her platform, or rather pedestal sculpture. Ann is a longtime well-known Northwest sculptor who for years has worked in bronze, I mean decades too. And for the last 10 to 20 years, she has been working a lot more with natural materials, found objects. A very different feeling. Still a lot of the same themes in her work, but these have a wonderful transient kind of ephemeral feel to them because of the materials. This is called Standing Slough. It's a lot of marsh or bog twigs. She often uses a embroidery hoop as a base, which is interesting to me. It's such an object of women's work. You may notice that these incorporate ladders. Can read all we want into that. Anne feels like this is her most personal body of work. And there is some feeling of transition going on here. A moving up, a moving away perhaps. It's hard to get this without the background. This is called Standing Slough. Perhaps a moving away, perhaps a time of reconsidering a lifetime of being on this planet. This is a beautiful small piece. Makes me think a bit of Georgia O'Keeffe. We have looks to me like a rib cage of a bird, and there's seaweed around it. So simple, so elegant. This is called Tall Heron. I'm going to try to move them a little more quickly. We've got a lot of work, so excuse any jumpiness in the camera. Again, there's a beautiful vertebrae, breast. Maybe it's I don't know for sure, of a bird, but there is a heron beak as the striking tallest piece on that one. And here we have a pelican beak. Bones placed beautifully. You'll find this on her property if you ever go to visit Lummi Island. 14 acres was donated to Western Washington. Anne's studio is still there. She goes to work every day. This is called Forest, Sea, and Snakes. Snakes singular. It has a snake skin. Little darker content of this piece. Her ladders are being made from used kind of like screen material, screen door material, mesh. This is called Beach Stand Exit. And that is a butterfly, of course, driftwood. Beautiful amount of handiwork in here, often tiny knots, yet very simple and elegant pieces. Let's go over to see the standing backbone. Whoops, somebody next door dropped something. Beautiful. A rock. A leaf. The mesh. This is where we call these pieces ascensions, as they're all, not every one has a ladder, but the ladder is pretty common in these pedestal pieces. Here we have frogs around with a metamorphized frog or frog mummy. And over here we have banana rest. Gorgeous piece with a banana leaf. Hard to get a clear picture of that. Down below we have the bird, charred bird rest. These are charred driftwood from the beach. And of course the bird skeleton. And let's go back over to the final pedestal piece. This is called The Way Up from Grief. You have a feeling of lightness, airiness, and transition to these pieces, even though they deal with some heavy subjects at times. They're very ethereal. Get a good look at her handiwork. We're going to move to the pieces called suspensions. Oh no, there's one last little sculpture over here that's gorgeous. This is called Sea and Forest. We have a rock with barnacle markings, a wasp nest on the base, driftwood, deer antler. That's not driftwood, it's a deer antler. It's gorgeous. Then we'll move to what we call the suspensions. When Anne finished her small sculptures, she went to her studio every day, as she does, and she said she needed to do something with her hands, so she started shredding fabric. And we have the result of that, these gorgeous hanging pieces. Again, she's using an embroidery hoop as a support, which I love. It kind of gives a women's work feeling to it. And she had the hooks made by a forger, a welder on Lummi Island. This one is seed pods from a tree. Got some burlaps. And in the middle, there's always a beautifully chosen piece of plant. Most likely, this almost looks like a palm. I can't recognize what this plant is on the inside. These are look different in different light. They move. If there's a breeze, they create gorgeous shadows. This one is dogwood with Canadian thistle. Let's go over to this little grouping over here of 6 or 7 of them. I'll try to go a little more quickly. Again, some wonderful tree pods. These are the bog marsh plants that have dried. A lot of these are dried already, hanging upside down. They're going to last a long time. You can see again the wonderful little handiwork of stitching, tying knots, the well-chosen brass tacks or upholstery tacks. Each one is so different. We're going to slip around back and take a look at this black one. That leaf almost looks like a ladder in there. This black one is very cool. It's got a white feathers on the inside. And this wonderful green, I'll move this aside and you can see on the inside, it's another Canadian thistle. In the window, these are very light and we have just strung them from like a teacup hook up in the ceiling. Beautiful shadow. And these are, of course, are hung with arms that they work beautifully too. So you've got the burlap bag shredded. The Hindu flag, the individual like flags that they use, elegant. This is handmade paper, I believe, with a wonderful plant hanging on the inside. So this is what we have here for you. And I'll tell you what, we had the most fun we've ever had installing a show because of the light, imaginative work that's going on. It was almost like, I don't know, it was a huge treat for my staff, for me, everybody at IE. So we hope you get to come.